Joining me on the show today, we have Nathalie Redfern, who runs a business called Buildabundle. Hi, Nathalie.
Hi, nice to meet you, Andrea.
Now, tell us a little bit about this business that you've got going here, because I'm hearing about it and it's sounding quite successful to me.
Yeah, it started 3 years ago, back in 2018, by my business partner, Anna Cargan. She was quite interested in finding out and educating herself about how the fashion industry was affecting our planet, how it had an impact on climate change. And the more she looked into it, the more she was seeing what a huge impact it was having. It's the second biggest polluter on the planet. And we've kind of got into this habit of throwaway fashion, fast food, fast fashion. You buy something.
And we're all so guilty of that, aren't we? You know, a trip down to a rather large high street store in Lancaster, you know, and coming back with piles and piles of bags and stuff and thinking that we've done something good because we've not spent much money and we've got loads of new clothes.
Yeah, but it's not massively ethical and it's not sustainable at all. And I think we're seeing more and more where our recycling goes. You know, what happens to the stuff that cannot be recycled? What happens to your clothes? You might take them to the charity shop, but if they can't sell them, what do they do with them? They go to landfill. And it's become a massive issue. But back in 2018, Anna, like myself, had 3 young children. They don't stop growing, ever. And she had to clothe them, and she found she was, had all these clothes she didn't know what to do with, and she started selling on Sell and Seek sites. She's always been very big into eBay, but she started selling and buying through Sell and Seek. And she was finding the bundles that she was getting, she might want to keep half of it, but she didn't want the other half. So she was selling that on, and she found she was making her money back. So that's when it kind of clicked. This could be a business idea. It was something she was interested in. It was helping the planet, keeping clothes in circulation. So yeah, she decided to do it almost as a hobby. This was around her job and raising her 3 children. She decided to do this little evening job from her house. I was kind of involved right from the start. Me and Anna have always been really close. When you've got 3 children, you're not invited to that many people's houses, funnily enough, but our 6 together, it was fine. So every time I'd go around for a brew and I'd get a pile of clothes to sort or, some labels to write. So we decided, or Anna decided, she was running this as a business. And from day one, as soon as the website went live, it was massive. She was hoping for 1 or 2 orders. She got over £1,000 worth of orders in the first 6 hours. It just very quickly became unmanageable for her to do on her own as a little evening job. At this point, I was going through quite a bad time. I was going through a divorce. I'd just been registered disabled. So I was kind of building my life again. And, I was watching Anna struggling. And I said, why don't we do this together? So that's what we decided to do. So April 2019, I came on board and we decided to, set it up, limited company, and run it as a proper business, still alongside our other jobs. And it's just kind of gone from strength to strength. We've just found the message and the idea is something people are really interested in, as well as it being an affordable way of buying clothes, selling clothes that people no longer use.
Well, I mean, the thing is, especially with children's clothes, is that they might not wear them. I remember when my son was younger, I would be buying him clothes, but he would decide which clothes he was going to wear and which ones he wasn't. And quite often I would have clothes that he'd literally never worn or worn once. And then, like you say, 6 months later, he's outgrown them and you're passing them on.
Yeah. And I think as well, like when I was younger, families lived very close together and they were passed among families, but that's not so easy now. People are a lot more spread out. So yeah, people do tend to not know what to do with clothes that the children have outgrown, and it does help people if they can get a little bit of money for those clothes, because if kids are growing out of clothes, it usually means they need new clothes, which, it's the cycle, isn't it?
So 2019, and then we had COVID, but of course I'm presuming that because your business is online, you were able to ride that a little bit.
COVID was an extremely stressful time. It was an extremely good time for the business because, like you say, we're online. Our sales doubled, nearly tripled overnight. The problem we had was obviously our first priority was keeping our staff safe, keeping our customers safe. We also had all of our children off. We were homeschooling our children. I was working from home on my project management job. And we only had one person in the office for safety reasons. Anna was working from home, I was working from home, and Emma, our office supervisor, bless her, just kept the whole office running. It was a very tricky time. We were working 16, 17-hour days. But yeah, it was a really productive time for us as well. It was a massive step forward for climate change as well. People weren't driving and they saw the effect, pollutants were having. And I think it has, raised a lot of the issues that have been there, but people have had the time during COVID to step back, think about them and see how they want to move forward. And we have noticed more and more people getting on board with the climate change message and how the little changes we make can have a big impact.
Okay, let's play a little bit of music and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about that. Joining me on the show today, we have Nathalie Redfern from Buildabundle, and we've been talking about building a business, running a business, but also keeping in mind the impact that we're having on the planet and making that business sustainable. And you've been very successful with your business, Nathalie. It's so successful, in fact, that you've won some national awards recently.
So we've been shortlisted for 2 awards, one for the National Recycling Awards in Circular Economy, and also through the Lloyds Bank British Business Excellence Awards in the local category. So yeah, it's massive to get that validation that the second-hand industry and the pre-loved industry, which is getting bigger and bigger, is being recognised as a legitimate business. And it's having not only a huge climate impact, it's also having a huge economic impact. They reckon the second-hand industry will overtake the brand new industry by like 2025. It is a growing industry. Yeah. And it's nice to be at the forefront of that, really, and to put Barrow and put Cumbria on the map as a sustainable industry.
Absolutely. Well, there's a big push in Barrow at the moment and the surrounding areas for these environmental issues. I'm very proud to say actually that of the stance that Barrow is taking, and the council with its commitments on climate change. It's great stuff to see. I was watching the telly the other day, and they were talking about clothing and stuff, and I think there was a lady on there. She was saying that she would recommend that you wear a piece of clothing at least 30 times before you would even consider moving it on. What do you think about that? Is that something you would advocate? With children,
I think trying to advocate, like you said before, anything that children wear, they very much make their own decisions. I think, there is certain items of clothing that you wear and wear and wear again, and there's certain items of clothing that you might decide after a set amount of time, I no longer wear this. And you want to sell that on, and there's a lot of avenues that you can sell items on. So I'm not sure whether I can't say that I've worn some of my clothes 30 times, but then I am one that I've bought clothes that I'm going to fit into one day and haven't quite made it there. So I think.
Have you been able to make changes in other aspects of your business as well? Like energy use and things like that?
Yeah, we do. All of our packing bags that we use, we ask people, once if they've had stuff delivered, we take packing bags to reuse. So all of our packing materials are recycled. even our computer in our office, Anna's brother, built for us out of old computers. So everything, we try and use as much recycled materials as possible. It's not always possible, both for trying to get stuff and also the cost of stuff. At the end of the day, you know, we are a business. We do have to manage financially as well. So it is a fine line. We're also part of a group called Ecology. So we're a climate positive business. We plant trees. Currently in the Madagascan rainforest, they are at the moment. We've planted over 1,600 trees there now, to kind of replace any carbon that we're using.
Yeah, great. So what's the future for Buildabundle then?
Really, we want to get our message out there. We'd like to, you know, grow bigger and better. Our biggest issue at the moment is premises. We are really maxed out where we are now. As you can see, my office is surrounded by boxes. It's, we're really cramped. We'd love to take on more staff. We've got another member of staff starting in the near future through the Kickstarter programme. We're keen to employ people that are struggling to get into work. We employ a lot of mums. As mums ourselves, we know how hard it is sometimes to work around children, so we provide flexible working options within school hours. So we'd love to take on more staff. We're desperately looking for bigger premises to allow us to do that. And yeah, we just hope we continue to grow, continue to recycle more and more items of clothing. This year so far, we've recycled over 30,000 items. Just to get bigger and bigger and to get the message out there that pre-loved is a viable option. And hopefully these business awards, you know, it's another way of us to validate the secondhand industry and spread our message. So, yeah, and it's...
So, if you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, right, I'm going to do it, I'm going to go and open that cupboard door and sort out all my stuff, have a big clear out, how would they get in touch with you, Nathalie?
We have our website, buildabundle.co.uk, or we can be contacted through our Facebook page, Buildabundle, or on Instagram at Buildabundle Kids.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.